I love those signs when I came in. Socialism. Just give me a break. What idiots. Socialism. No one ever doubts I mean what I say. Sometimes, unfortunately, I say all that I mean.
That made no sense. One of the biggest liberals in America thinks millions of Americans who voted for Republicans are stupid.
The American people, they're treated like they're a bunch of dummies. They're not idiots. Okay, now granted, there's 330 million people in the country, maybe a good 80 to 90 million aren't very bright. No offense to those of you watching who aren't bright, but that's, you're watching MSNBC, so I'm making an assumption that you know what's going on.
Wow. That's interesting. Jesse, this stuff doesn't bother me anymore. I mean, if we get upset about this, then we're the snowflakes that we've been, making fun of forever. It's like, if you got to, what did Trump say to protesters when he came in?
Knock him out.
Knock him out. So, and we found that magical.
We did. I still do. Moore and Biden are right, but they use the wrong word. There are a lot of idiots out there, but I don't call them that. I call them, they're oblivious. They're people who are smart people. They're just not paying any attention. And when I used to go out on the street, we used to find out they weren't paying any attention at all. And that's okay. If you ask people about tax policy, healthcare policy, kind of that stuff, they're not going to know the details because it doesn't really affect them the way certain things do. Inflation and crime affect everybody. And you can be oblivious to everything in Washington except inflation and crime because everybody buys things and everybody sees prices going up and fear travels fast. So you know when crime's rising. Same thing with terrorism. People felt scared. So you can't dismiss it and say you're either being misinformed by Russian bots or, the mainstream media is, jiving you. You just have to meet them where they are and say, I feel it too, this is a problem. You can't just be a detached snob and say you're an idiot.
She's right there. She's not a detached snob.
He said he liked me in the last
She's
one.
just detached.
But you know what's interesting? Both sides do the thing where they call the other side stupid. But I think Jesse's right. It's not about intelligence at all. It's about confirmation bias, right? And the sunk cost. If you really believe in something, it's hard for you to change your mind. Isn't that's probably what this is?
Well, even confronted with facts about it, people will still say, no, it's this.
We have a lot of that with you when we try to confront you.
And it's so kind that you keep inviting me back. Confirmation bias is huge. Partisanship is off the charts, right? It used to be that people were quite flexible and they would be willing to listen to both sides about it, and that's just not the way that it works anymore. Going to the, Biden saying those idiots, he gets spikes in approval when he's himself. Remember when he called that guy a dog-faced pony soldier or something like that? People like unvarnished Joe Biden. And I'm not talking about exaggerations with the economy or whatever it is, but when he has an instinctive response, when he malarkeys, whatever it is, it reminds them of this guy that they've known for decades, who they think is a really good guy, and that he's able to get things done in a bipartisan way, which frankly he has been able to.
I would agree with you if that behavior was expressed when he dealt with the left. But he's completely been run over by the hardcore progressives in your party. He's a wimp. He seems tough there, but he's a wimp, Judge. He
is a wimp, and I'm not going to go past that word. Okay, if that's what you're looking for. Here's the truth: Joe Biden has been misleading. In fact, he's been lying to the American people. And the Washington Post and the New York Times and I believe it's a few other, CNN, have basically said Joe Biden has been lying to the American people. And those are Democrat-leaning television and print. He's lying about the fact that, he's been telling us that, the gas hikes are Putin's fault and that crime is really a right-wing conspiracy and nobody needs to worry about it. He alleges that he reduced the federal deficit by $1.4 trillion or something like that, and no one has reduced it, according to the fact finders. Politico has found that he has lied. He claims, and he's trying to take credit for the increase in Social Security that is really a result of a bill that was passed into law 40 or 50 years ago that says Social Security has to keep pace with inflation. The man is lying to the American people. So let's not sugarcoat it and say, it's Sweet Joe and, just a little malarkey, cute stuff. He is out and out lying.
Dana,
yes.
What do you make
Well,
of
I wanted
this?
to add something to what Jesse said about those two issues. Crime and inflation really affected everybody, but so did COVID.
Yeah.
And for people who are a small business owner, for example, if you're a restaurant owner, maybe you lost your ability to make a living for a couple of years. Also for parents who watched what happened, not only that their kids were out of school, but then when they get back to school, their test scores are down, and they found out more about the woke education stuff. Those two things are happening. The other thing is Stacey Abrams down in Georgia. She is likely to lose to Brian Kemp tomorrow. She continues to say that voter suppression is the issue, and that she said that her voters are being fed misinformation. I actually think people are able to make up their own minds, and she just hasn't been as persuasive. 2.5 million people in Georgia voted early, and that's 500,000 more than in 2018 at this time. So I think her voter suppression nonsense is wearing thin.
That it is. But you know what's not wearing thin?
What?
Your insightful commentary. Ahead. Liberals. Wow, I look pretty good out here.
Liberals.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that